a lot to change. It's not I ask yourself this question, obviously. It's ask yourself this one question. And I thought I talked about it in another video, but I'm going to talk about it again because today has sucked really, really badly. So I don't know if I talked about it in the like other videos, but we're having an issue at a job site. Oh, I did. Communication, all that kind of shit. So anyway, everything was fine yesterday. I go and leave, and then today we get another call that like shit is going south like quickly. So apparently it was something to do with the property lines. We already had everything marked out where everything was supposed to go. The customer agreed to it, but then apparently we're over the property line. We don't guarantee property lines. So there's that. And apparently there's like 25 sections of aluminum that are going to have to get ripped out, reinstalled. And then on top of that, apparently they hit an underground wire for like an invisible fence, which I don't even think it was near the fence line. So I don't know what the hell. I have no idea what the hell happened. To be honest with you, I end up having to go do a consultation so that way TJ could stay at the job site. So anyway, asking yourself this one question, and I just said this to TJ. I said, obviously now is not the time for it, but I said like we don't want to keep on this because like the last like 2 weeks have not been great, to be honest with you. Like there's been little issues here and there, and then it's just been a torrential downpour of bullshit that we're dealing with right now. On the plus side, I've talked about in other videos, I do believe in like the rules of three and stuff like that. I've witnessed it firsthand a lot of times with like waves and whatnot while surfing and just life in general. But typically, a lot of times things happen in threes. And before that, what ends up happening is like little dumb shit, right? And then the bigger and bigger, and then finally just everything explodes, and then we're back to normal. So I'm hoping that's kind of where we're at today because we had two issues yesterday, and then this big ass issue today. So hopefully we're done. I don't know. But anyway, the question to ask yourself is how do I stop this from happening again? Or what can I do differently to stop this from happening again, right? And because I think with like looking back to what we were doing back in 2017 and 2018, there were so many issues like every day. And like it got to the point we were just, we knew it was coming, right? So every day we were just putting out fires every single day. And like I'm fortunate for that it's myself and my wife, especially back then we were both heavily involved. So then we can kind of get together and make changes happen, right? But for a lot of you guys, where you're just doing everything on your own, either everything on your own, and then or you have some employees, you may or you probably don't have that other person, like a partner, to really rely on, right? And you might have a partner that you started the business with, but that doesn't necessarily make them a good partner because a lot of times partnerships, they just don't work out because everything starts with the best intentions, and then next thing you know, you're doing way more of the work than someone else is, and it's a mess, right? So anyway, ask yourself that question. So for us, we started looking at like we kind of talked briefly like what can we do differently because like there's things that have happened in the past, like the installers, they installed it in the wrong spot because like a lot of times what happens is that we're talking to just say the husband the entire time or the wife the whole entire time. It doesn't matter who it is. But then when it comes to the day of the install, like if we're talking to the husband all the time, then it's like, all right, my wife's going to be home. Well, though, like what we've found is that the husband and wife had no clue what each one's doing. Like it's almost like we have to be marriage counselors to figure out like what the hell's going on because they have no idea what's going on. And so the one thing we can do differently with that, if that's an issue you come across, is whoever the decision maker is, like they need to be home, or it's asking them a question of like, you've been like spearheading this entire project. Are you comfortable leaving them in charge, right? And if they say yes, it's like, all right, great. Because just to let you know, like if we install this fence, like the installer is going to ask the same questions. We're going to go out there and make sure you have it exactly the way you want it. And like if you tell us or they tell us to install it in the wrong place, then we got to rip it out. Then it's $75 a post, and like this one side's 10 posts, so that's $750. We just want to make sure like we're not, we don't want to charge you any more than we have to, right? So you can do stuff like that. The other thing I don't know if this is going. So what TJ is starting to bring now, hopefully this doesn't cut out again, is a metal detector just to kind of see where the property lines are so you can get a better idea. And then maybe just run a string line from corner to corner so we're making sure we're inside the property line. So we're going to do that. The other things that you can do that we do is using company cam. So you don't have to use company cam, but it is convenient. And then basically you're putting all pictures, you're putting videos. So we have like where TJ actually like does a walkthrough of like where the fence is going, all that kind of stuff. So you can do stuff like that. If there's other issues happening where they're constantly not doing something, well, then you could do checklists, right? There's all different kinds of things that can be done in order to make sure that shit doesn't keep happening. Because at the end of the day, like you have two choices. Like, do you want to fight fires all day, or do you want to figure out where the fire keeps starting and like stop it from happening, right? And yes, it does take a little bit more time. And yes, you're probably already working a shit ton of hours. And yes, you're already dealing with like a lot of issues. But like, would you rather like maybe there's going to be a day where you already worked 14 hours. Maybe you have to work 15 hours a day in that day, like that extra hour, to like stop the issues from happening anymore. Because maybe if you stop those issues from happening, maybe you go from 14 hours to 12 hours, or 14 to 10 or 8 or something like that. So that's all I got, I think. But just a frustrating day all in all. But like, that's the nature of the business, unfortunately. But it does, like, it seems like it always happens in cycles for us, at least. Like I said, back in 2018, it was more of like a all-year shitstorm. But then, like I said, we started figuring out like what needed to be tweaked. And it's not like the one thing we have to get away from, we as in us, right, is that you have to get away from thinking like, is this going to fix the problem, right? But it's not like is there a problem or no problem. It's like how big of a problem on like a 1 to 10. Like if you're dealing on a daily basis with level 10 problems that are absolute nightmares, like the cops are getting involved and everything else, that's obviously a huge problem. But if you're dealing with like level 2 problems, which are just kind of annoying, well, how do we get that level 10 problem down to a 5, a 6, a 7, like whatever it is, in the short term, and then monitor those results, and then from there make it another adjustment that we got it from a 10 to a 7. Now we got it from a 7 to a 5. Wait a few more weeks, make another adjustment, and then get that from a 5 to like a 3, right? And then eventually you'll be able to get rid of it. It'll happen. Now, is it going to happen still occasionally? Yeah. But like these level 10 problems, like just say a level 10 problem, that literally happens every single day. Like when you make the first adjustment, instead of being every single day, like 5 days a week, well, maybe it's only 3 days a week. And then we get it to 1 day a week, and then it's like every other week, and then once a month kind of thing, right? So that's what's definitely possible. I know in like when you're dealing with it, when you're down in the trenches, it doesn't seem like things are ever going to get any better. But we have to look at and see, like ask ourselves if that's really true, if we really believe that's true, right? And if that's true, like if you really believe that this shit's going to happen day after day after day, well then like at that point you have to do everything in your power to stop it from happening anymore. Make those adjustments. So anyway, hope this is helpful. Again, if you have any questions, message or like in the comment, or send an email to support@localprohelper.com. Like I say in the other videos, like I don't have really tons of time, especially the shit that's going on recently. But I can make videos and stuff like that. At least it'll give me a topic to talk about. So anyway, hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you soon.